Maya first found the cat on a wind-swept afternoon when the sun was sliding behind the apartment blocks and the alleys smelled faintly of bread and rain. The stray crouched beneath a row of rusted mailboxes, a caramel-colored creature with a torn ear and one eye, half closed as if the world was too bright. When Maya bent down, the cat didn't run. It simply blinked its good eye and gave a sound that was half sigh, half meow. "Hey," Maya whispered. "Hi there." The cat's injured eye glistened with tears. A thin crust framed the lid, and her leg looked stiff, dragging slightly to one side. Maya took off her scarf, folded it into a small cradle, and lifted the cat gently. The little body relaxed, melting into the warmth as if it had been waiting for that touch. When Maya reached home, her mother Amal met her at the door, equal parts stern and worried. "Maya, what is that?" "A cat," Maya said breathlessly. "She's hurt. Look at her eye, Mama." Amal frowned, but her gaze softened when she saw the trembling bundle. She touched the cat's head with 2 careful fingers. "Don't get too attached," she said. "We'll take her to Dr. Fadl and see what he says." "Can we name her first?" Amal sighed. "Fine, but don't make it silly." "Wink," Maya said instantly, "because she only keeps one eye open." Amal tried not to smile. "Wink it is." They walked to the small clinic at the corner, where bougainvillea climbed the walls like purple waterfalls. A brass bell chimed as they entered, and the air smelled clean, like soap and thyme. From the back room came an elderly man with silver hair shining beneath the light. "Ah," he said warmly, "another rescue. I'm Dr. Fadl. Let's see what we can do." He examined Wink with a soft flashlight, murmuring gently, "An eye infection, probably, from a scratch, and a sprained leg. Nothing too serious." Maya held her breath while Amal crossed her arms. "Medicine, rest, and patience," Dr. Fadl continued. "And love, of course. Love heals more than anything else." They returned home with a small paper bag of ointments and a plastic cone that made Wink look like a tiny satellite. At first Wink protested, pulling the cone with outrage, but soon she curled up in a patch of sunlight and slept. For a week, Maya rose early to clean the eye, counting to 10 while she hummed a tune she invented herself. "You're brave," she whispered. Wink blinked back, one slow golden blink, as if to agree. By the second week, Wink's eye was bright and clear, and she followed Maya everywhere, like a shadow. When Amal sat with tea in the evening, Wink would leap into her lap with shameless confidence. "You're not staying," Amal would tell her, but her hand still stroked the caramel fur, and Wink purred louder every night. One morning, as Maya opened the door to water the basil, Wink slipped out like a streak of sunlight. "Mama's going to be mad," Maya whispered, hurrying after her. Wink trotted to the alley, stopped beside a trash bin, and turned back as if to say, "Come on." Then, behind the bin huddled another cat, gray and trembling, a raw pink circle showing where fur was gone from her head. "Oh," Maya breathed softly. "You brought a friend." They named her Halo, for the pale ring on her head, and carried her to Dr. Fadl. "You see," he said with a chuckle, "ambassadors always find recruits." He cleaned Halo's wound and gave them antiseptic. "She's lucky you found her," he said. After Halo came a ginger Tom with a broken whisker, a smoky kitten with a cough, then a calico whose tail had been singed at the tip. as if she dipped it in sunlight and got burned. They arrived one after another, shy or bold, each one led by Wink like pilgrims following gentle guide to safety. By the fourth rescue, Amal could no longer hide her frustration. "Maya," she said, hands on her hips. "This is getting out of hand. I'll find them homes." Maya promised, her eyes wide with hope. "Or we can take them to the shelter once they're better." "Once they're better," Amal muttered. "Always once they're better." Still, she bought a giant bag of litter and extra food, pretending not to notice the neat row of cats learning to sit politely by the kitchen door. When the seventh cat arrived, a timid black and white kitten with one white paw, Amal finally reached her limit. "That's it, Maya. 7 cats. We're not a hospital or a cat embassy. We'll take them all to the shelter this week. Understood?" Maya looked at the cats, Wink, Halo, and the others, each one watching her silently, their eyes glimmering like little moons. Her throat tightened, but she nodded. "Yes, Mama, I understand." But life had its own plans. That Thursday afternoon, Amal had to step out briefly to collect a package. 10 minutes, she said, kissing Maya's head. "Do your homework, and no more cats." She glanced at Wink. "That includes you. Okay?" Maya said, smiling. The apartment was quiet. Curtains moved gently in the breeze. Maya worked on her math homework, then stood to fetch her sharpener. Her foot caught on a loose thread in the rug. She stumbled, then fell. Pain exploded through her ankle. "Ah!" She tried to stand, but her leg gave out. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, too far to reach. "Mama?" she called weakly, but no one answered. Wink appeared first, tail high, eyes sharp with alarm. She sniffed Maya's swollen ankle, then turned toward the balcony, meowing with urgency. The other cats gathered behind her, alert and ready. The balcony door was open, but the railing was high and the yard below impossible for a single cat to jump. Wink assessed the distance, then chirped, a short, commanding sound. What happened next would become neighborhood legend. Wink stacked the cats. One by one, they formed a living tower. The big ginger Tom crouched at the base. Halo climbed on his back, the calico on hers, and so on, until Wink stood at the top, balancing like a small golden flag. She paused, tail twitching, then jumped, first to the railing, then to the courtyard wall beyond. Her claws scraped, caught, and held. For a heartbeat she crouched, listening to Maya's faint cries, to the wind, then sprinted off across the courtyard, through the hedge, under the gate, and out toward the street. Amal was just reaching the front steps when the caramel blur appeared, mewing wildly, darting back and forth. "What is it?" Amal said, startled. "What's wrong?" Wink ran ahead, glanced back, and cried out again. Amal followed, heart pounding. When she reached the courtyard, she saw it. The living pyramid of cats wobbling on the balcony, railing, and heard a thin voice calling, "Mama." She ran upstairs, fumbled with the keys, and burst inside. "Oh, my darling," she gasped, kneeling beside Maya. "Are you hurt?" "My ankle," Maya whispered. "It hurts so bad." Amal's hands moved with calm precision. "We're going to the clinic," she said softly. She glanced at Wink, who sat by Maya's side, eyes wide and steady. "And we're taking our little hero with us." At the clinic, The doctor examined Maya's ankle and smiled gently. Just a small fracture, he said. A few weeks of rest and you'll be fine. He looked at the cat perched quietly on the chair and chuckled. So this is the one who came for help? She's quite the hero. Amal laughed through tears. She saved my daughter, and maybe me too. Back home, Maya lay on the couch, her foot bandaged and propped on pillows, Wink curled beside her ankle, watching over it as if guarding a treasure. The other cats gathered close, silent and loyal. Amal stood there, looking around, the bowls, the small beds, the neat row of medicine, bottles with her daughter's handwriting. She thought of the cat tower, the leap, desperate dash to find her. Compassion, she realized, wasn't chaos. It was structure, fragile, miraculous, and strong enough to carry someone across the impossible. Amal exhaled softly. You know what, Maya? She said. They're home now. All of them. I can't imagine this house without their little paws anymore. Maya's face lit up. You mean we can keep them? Amal nodded with a smile. Yes, every single one. This is their home, our home. Wink meowed as if in agreement. Halo brushed against Amal's leg, and the rest joined in a gentle chorus of purrs that filled the room with warmth. That night, as the moon climbed over the rooftops, Amal, Maya, and the 7 rescued cats slept under one roof, a family born not of blood, but of kindness.